All right, that was good.
What's up?
Hello. Don, what happened to your audio?
Oh,
Don, what happened to your audio?
Yeah, you're waiting.
Guys,
Donna, I gotta share something with you guys.
Wait, can I just say I want to say something?
Yeah,
go ahead. There you are. Hi, Don.
Hi. That music. Did anyone hear a little Molly Hatchet kind of?
Oh yeah.
And I'm going through the list of guitar players, and I'm trying to think that was like a little, I don't know, like almost a Johnny Winter kind of a. That was good, man. Where's Shane? Why can't I say Shane? Nice job.
He's in the chat.
You could say it. There's no guarantee he's in the chat. He's probably
no. I've already seen him in the chat.
Oh, he's hiding
more than once.
Well, I was gonna say,
there he is.
Thumbs up.
Hey, okay.
All right, welcome everybody. It's December 14th. We're getting down to the end of the year, and a lot of things going on. You know, if you're celebrating Christmas and other, you know, religious holidays and everything, but we're just getting down to for taxes and man. It's just, before you know it, we're all going to have to start signing 2022 and whenever appropriate or typing it. For those of you who still use day runners, day planners, go get your or the blotter calendar. Please make sure you change your calendars out next few weeks.
Hey Don, I gotta get something off my chest, man. I gotta share with you guys something.
Well, wait a minute. Don't take off that black T-shirt on us.
No, and everybody in the chat, you guys have become, faithful viewers, and we appreciate you all. And
listeners.
I went to the doctor this week, and he told me I'm going deaf, and it was hard to hear.
Look at him cracking himself up. Look at that. I think it's funny that he's cracking himself. He managed to try and keep a straight face for that whole thing. And now here he is. He can't keep it anymore. He's done.
The one time I want his internet to go down, his camera to break, it doesn't. Where is the justice in this
I don't know why I'm losing it.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Shaq and Greg will be sitting in for you tonight. Where is he?
Hey, listen, guys, listen. Well, it's been an emotional week because listen, I just found my stepladder and I realized
he can't do it because he can't find his real ladder. He never knew him. That's an old one, Dan. Come
I'm
on.
so bad at jokes.
Wow.
You know what I want? The next time you tell a joke, I want your family in the background so we can see their faces as you're
I'm
telling.
horrible at telling
That's
jokes.
All right. You know what?
Mosin, hey.
Go ahead.
I
Go
got
ahead.
one for Mosin because he likes to deal with cattle and stuff, right? So what do you call a cow that has a twitch? Beef jerky.
Listen,
That's a dad.
We can keep going with these. You know, hey
what,
Dan.
what happens
Daniel.
when you touch Dwayne Johnson's butt?
Uh-huh.
You hit rock bottom.
You're gonna have to tell me, man.
All right. Sorry.
That and broken fingers.
I've never shared a dad joke here, and then here I am. I'm trying to stay all like very serious.
okay.
And I can't.
No,
If I have to stay
SKT
serious,
said
I
it
can't
all.
do it.
Brother Don SKT said it all. He says, Molson, stick to the rants. There you go.
Okay, yeah,
That's our
Molson.
engineer. That's our engineer. This is why he's a
So-
smart guy.
This is how you have to do it, though. You got to be real calm, cool, and collected, right? You say, so 2 guys walked into a bar. Funny, I thought the second would have seen it.
Another one. I wish his internet was
Hi, guys.
What's up?
all right. So I was gonna say, Molson, tell us how was your day, but I think you just did.
He spent all day on those.
I'm awesome, but I'm horrible at telling jokes. That's all I gotta say. So if you ever hear me say something, then you probably know it's true because I would lose it.
Moving on. Steve, Kilo 04. No, Kilo Oscar 4, Alpha Foxtrot Lima. It was great working you on 40 meters today.
Yes, absolutely. You were just booming into South Carolina today.
Let me tell you something. When I heard you, I said, that's it. We're going to the numbers. Everybody was screaming to work me. It's great. I love working pileups. I love being that. But my God, guys were fast and furious. I said, that's it. We're going to do it by the numbers. And I don't know if you were sticking around, but I did. I had to do two sessions of by the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that. Guys were deep. Guys were going deep. So, but thank you for working me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was funny. You were 5'9" plus 20, and then all of a sudden you were 3'3".
Well, guess what, though? You know who was 40 over? And I don't want to tell him right now. Victor Alpha 3, Sierra Delta. He came in big. I've always said that to you guys. He always, let me tell you something. We kid Daniel a lot.
He's got
but
that in. You know.
What are you running? 200 watts, 150 watts? What are you running?
No, I was running 100 watts on my NFED.
Barefoot.
What kind of antenna?
Wow.
What antenna?
It's a NFED half wave as a flat top going north-south. Myantennas.com, 80 to 10.
Big,
And you were
big.
booming in here. Actually, I recorded it so I can send it to you. And recorded
signal.
it for you. You were like 10, 15 over. So you sounded good.
But when I switched over to 20 and I was working I worked a guy in Saskatchewan and
what? How did you say it?
Saskatchewan,
It's
isn't it?
Sketchatoons.
Saskatchewan, Vancouver, all of a sudden West
You know
Coast
how
started
you know
coming
how
in.
before the stream you were talking about in Italian by the way he announced
Yes,
it, he pronounced
that's
it.
I can never be
Yeah,
Canadian.
You're
I
not
can
Canadian.
I'll never
It's
be Canadian.
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon. All right. So thank you. Welcome to the Ham Radio
Saskatoon.
Clubhouse. And tonight's session we'll be discussing geography and pronunciation of the various Canadian provinces.
And Don has already failed.
That's two fails tonight. Awesome.
Do not put me in charge of pronunciation. Don't even go there. We're not
Oh,
even
we haven't. You just do it on your own.
Beer snack. What are you up to?
Drinking?
Drinking. Having
No,
fun.
I'm hanging out. Hanging out, having fun. Let's see.
There's that
Spent
F
the
word again.
weekend. What? That F
There's
word.
Yeah.
F word. Ooh,
Yeah, that F word, man. It's everywhere. I don't give a flying fun. Anyway, no, just working hard. I did a Pota last weekend, and I believe that would have been my last one for quite a while, unless I can get out early in the morning before I have to work on weekends or drag the kids out with me. But, such is life. But here I am, chilling with everybody here. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's listening and hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I'm focusing on not spilling this while I pour it. There we go.
Ooh, he's good.
And
That's a momentous occasion.
It is. What? Did I focus on something?
You could do two things at once, Dan. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking while I was talking, so.
There it is.
While he's walking in Saskatchewan.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You're here.
You're here.
Hey, Joe, where's the tin cup?
I ain't got none. I ain't even got no water out here with me tonight.
Ooh.
You don't have water. Come on, you always have water.
There's nothing here tonight.
No Gatorade. Nothing. Wow.
Nothing.
Gatorade.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
And Don, what about you, buddy? How many contacts did you make today doing Pota?
I forgot. 140 something. 140.
Nice.
I forgot.
I have to make fun of you though about something.
Go ahead. As well as a few other things that I got to make fun of myself. But go ahead. You're first.
No, you're saying you were calling numbers. So when I tuned in, I came home for lunch and I tuned in. And you're like, okay, we're going by the numbers, gentlemen. We're going by the numbers. Four
Did
land.
I skip a number?
No, you're like 4 land. Nothing heard. 5 land. Nothing heard. 6 land. Nothing heard. 7 land. Nothing heard. 8 land. Nothing heard. 9, 10, 11, 12.
That was
9,
round
10,
two.
9, 0, 1, 2. You come back to 3 right away. So I was like, where's this pileup he's talking about? Why is he calling numbers?
That was on round 2 because round 1. So round 1, I went 1, 2, 3, and what I should have done, I should have stopped after 4 and said, "Are there any mobile or potas?" Because that's real. But again, you run your pileups how you want to run your pileups. We all know that. No. But I'm just saying, but I have a rhythm that I get into.
Yeah.
And then I opened it up, and then it got all of a sudden 40 shut down. And then it came back again, and the pileup came in hard again. So, and I was putting up with it, but then I said, you know something, man, I'm too freaking old for this stuff. I'm gonna run it by the numbers again. And then I think I went from 6, 7, and I think I skipped 8 and went to 0 and 9, then the 8. I'm like, what the hell, you know? Didn't you pass grammar school? Didn't I pass, the basics of numbers? No,
you were booming in, man. It sounded good.
You know what I was doing too? So I bought this antenna. 3 years ago, and I used it twice in my backyard. And then it just sits in my Pota. I have a big Pota bag, and it's from Soda Beams. And I really, really like this antenna. It's for 20 and 40. Obviously, you can get 15 meters on it. You could tune it for the other bands, but it takes the whole thing out of a resident antenna, right? But I put that thing up, and at first it wasn't doing good. And then I said, you know something? What would Mrs. Izzo do right now? What would Susan do right now? And the first thing she would have said to me is, did you read the instructions? So I kept the instructions in the bag, and sure, and I pulled it. It says, do not put this thing up higher than 20 feet. So I lowered the mast down to 20 feet, and lo and behold, it worked. So I had it in the inverted V, and I stuck with it for like 2 hours. And
Nice.
I met a dog today. I met a full size. What do you call those poodles that are full size? They're like big.
Poodles.
Poodle.
Yeah, no. No, it's a big, but it's not the
An adult poodle.
no
Labradoodle.
No. This was a real
Airedale.
It's not a toy. No, it's not a toy. So the toy poodles are the small. It's like
Right.
the big guy.
The
But okay.
Yeah, full size poodle or an Airedale.
All right, we'll call it the full size poodle. But he was blind. He had glaucoma, and the owner, and they had him since he was a baby, a puppy, I guess we'll call it. And they decided to not put the dog down, but they took the eyes out and had his eyelids shut. And so he knew their voices. And when he gave the command that it was all right to come up to me, he came up to me and he was hanging out with me on the tailgate because they want to know what I'm doing. And I've never seen a blind dog like that do so well with walking. But just an amazing. I mean, dogs are incredible. They're absolutely incredible.
Yes, they are.
So.
They have blind seeing eye dogs. You know that?
You know, Don, you have me Googling full-size poodles, what you're having me.
There's a name. There's a name
Big
for them.
poodle.
It's called a poodle.
No.
I have no clue. But you know what, guys? Before we started and we went live, we were having a great conversation with tonight's guest. I'm actually excited because I want to try and see where this conversation goes. I don't know anything about these people, but they look familiar. And I'm excited. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of QRP. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of everything. So we'll see where it goes.
I say bring them on. Bring them on.
Hello,
everybody.
Welcome.
Here's Judy and Steve. They are big ham radio people, and tonight we're going to learn more about them. And for those of you who do Pota and other activities, maybe you've seen them, heard them, read them on social media. But I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about them. So, Judy, how are you tonight?
I'm just fine. I'm enjoying listening to you guys. And I think the large poodle's called a standard poodle.
Stan, thank you. See, this is why I like her. That's why we brought her on. Thank you. Show's over. Goodbye.
Well, show's over. We have all our answers, our questions answered.
I have a whole bunch of rapid fire questions that I don't have to ask them now.
Awesome.
But Judy, Steve, tell us, hey, how did you get into this wonderful hobby? I was gonna say crazy hobby, which it is sometimes, but what got you into the hobby?
We actually haven't been in it that long, about 3-4 years. It was emergency preparedness. We live in a pretty rural gated community, and we decided to, I think it started off with the foods and the water, and then we realized that if all heck broke loose, what we needed was communication, and that's when we found Ham Radio.
And so what happened? Did you just say, hey, let's just go get our licenses? Is that and just kind of evolved?
Go ahead.
No, we, when we determined that we needed to come up with some communication, I'm an electrical engineer. I graduated in 1975 with a BS in electrical engineering, had absolutely no interest in ham radio until about a year before I retired. I was in industry doing all that kind of stuff. So what we did is we took a look at the available technologies, the FRS and the GMRS and all the other alphabet things. And we live in kind of a hilly terrain, and none of those technologies would satisfy our needs. So that's why we decided to get into the ham radio. And we started license study group. 10 of us took our test at the same time, and everybody passed. The BEs were a little concerned about that because you just don't have 10 people pass. And that was my first encounter with the ARRL. And then we just started growing. Now we're up to about, that was in 2017. Now we're up to about 30 hams in our community. And over half of them are general or extras. We have people with different capabilities and equipment setups, but right now I'd say we've probably got a core group of about 15 people that are set up to service our small community. We've got about 1,500 homes in here, and the one thing we did to drive that was we came up with study groups to help people. Since I had the technical background, I could help everybody understand the technical part, because that's something that's kind of difficult for accountants. So we were pretty successful at that. And Judy gets upset when I say it because it scares people, she says, but we've had 100% successful passing of the FCC test if they've gone through our study groups. And so we've had about 30 people go through there, and everybody hits it on the first time. So, but it's primarily, we're not affiliated with any of the organizations. We do participate in some things with them, but the ARRL likes to talk about their service entities or whatever they call them. Well, for us, it's our community. We want to get word out to people if something goes wrong. And we do have a standing net that we activate if the power goes out or we have storms or things like that. The other thing we did to get the community involved is I bought a bunch of communist radios, the BF-888. I programmed it.
You heard it first. You heard it first here on Ham Radio Clubhouse, folks.
So I programmed them so they receive only, so they could listen in on our UHF repeater. In case and we sold them for $20 and made $10 on each one. So, try to get the community tied in for them to know what's going on. Because
so what's in the community? Are they
a serious emergency?
So when you talk about the community, there's about 1,500 homes. Is this everybody from the 20-year-olds to the 80-year-olds? What's the makeup in the community?
It's pretty normally distributed age-wise.
Pretty diverse neighborhood. Gotcha.
Yeah, right. This is the area that the transients, people that transfer in for job changes and things. Everything else is a small town. If you haven't been there for 3 generations, it's not a good place to live. Some of these small towns, everybody knows their business. But this is kind of probably as close as you get to kind of a typical demographic in our area. So it is pretty diverse.
So at first I thought it was so it's not the community, like a gated community that's only doing this. This is to the whole, like your whole town, let's say.
Well, we're a gated community, but we're a suburb. It used to be. It started off as a vacation resort. Westinghouse put it in up here out of Pittsburgh, and you would buy your vacation home, and like we live on one of the 2 lakes, and it's like living in a state park. Okay. But we're also a suburb of the thriving metropolis of Du Bois, which is, I think, about 20,000 people. And we have members in our group that live in Du Bois because we want to be in touch with, the surrounding area, not just our community. And then like the third part of it is the hams that we have with the HF setups. We're able to get out, obviously, through the state and the region and the country. So we have kind of a tiered communications structure in the event of an emergency.
That's very interesting. And this is all created by you, like that whole tier system, the structure, you guys came up with that? You didn't derive that from somebody else's?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of made sense. It looked to me like, you use VHF, UHF for local communication. And then to get further distances, obviously you go to HF. We have spent a lot of time studying where the emergency frequencies are, the nets, that type of stuff, so that we know when the time comes, where to go to listen. The other big thing that I've been trying to get our guys involved with are the digital HF modes. I think that's probably an extremely valuable technology because, we're looking kind of the way our frame of reference was we're looking at end of the civilization planning. And if you plan for that, you can pretty well handle anything less than that.
Anything else, correct.
Down, Daniel.
Yeah,
Down, Daniel.
Plan for the worst case. And that's like engineering. You always design for the worst case.
Correct.
But with the digital HF modes, the advantage I see there is that you can still easily monitor communications without being at the radio. And for an extended emergency, that could be critically important. But if you have to sit there and listen to one frequency, waiting for some guy to pass on some traffic, I don't see that happening long term in a real emergency. So that's one reason I have a little trouble with the, I don't know, I guess you'd call it traditional. That's the other advantage of being a new ham. I don't have any old baggage, at least not in ham radio. So that's kind of how we look at it.
Well, similar. Well, I do. Some of you, some of. Man, I wish I was in your. I wish you said 1,500. I wish I was 1,501. because you and I would get along very, very well. We share a lot of points of views of, because, you know, a lot of these fraternal ham radio organizations push, well, this is how we've always done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we go back to the Cold War days. Okay, well, guess what? My grandfather did too. And one of the things that he didn't like was, you have to do it this way. No, you don't have to do it this way. You want to know why? It's not working. We're going to try a different way. We're going to be more practical. And we're going to be more practical. And you know, I've told stories here before, as well as offline, a lot of my grandfather's, you know, emergency stuff, you know, back in the 50s and early 60s. And again, he never did it by the book. You can't do it always. Listen, learning things is important. But when it comes down, when it's go time, you got to look at what is available and what is not.
Right. Yeah.
And let's not make it harder than what it is, and let us conform to what we need to do. You know, as they say, the mission. But don't make it harder than what it is. And essentially, this is how we've always done it. We need to do it on 75 meters. We have to do it on 75 meters. No, you don't. Matter of fact, it's probably stupid that you do it on 75 meters when you can probably do it on 6 meters. Or maybe 2 meter sideband, or, you know, depending on the jurisdictional, along with the territory. You know, what kind of territory? We're looking flatland, hills, mountains.
No, Don. You got to do it on 7188 all the time.
But no, Steve, I totally agree with you.
I support that message.
You know,
and one thing I noticed early on with a lot of these older ham organizations, that it looked to me like it was a place where old white guys that were never in charge of anything gets to be in charge of something. You know, it's just amazing what you see. So, you know, they have information.
Ding!
Hey, hold on. Hey, guys.
I have a few questions.
Wait. Hold on. Molson, hold on 1 second. We forgot
one.
we forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, especially for those of you on the podcast. But who, if you want to buy us a beer because you like and you agree with the things that are being said tonight, as well as our support for some of the programs that we have up and coming, guys, please buy us a beer. We deeply appreciate it. And you know, buy us one, buy us many. But but based upon some of the statements that we are making tonight, as well as we'll be making in the next hour or so,
we won't be monetized anytime soon.
Yes, and
give your money before I put my foot in my mouth. How about that?
And all the hate email goes to Molson. Remember that, because Molson will answer you back, and he'll tell you really where to go.
So I really like a lot of what you said there. I have a few questions, and I think some of it came in the chat. Number one, awesome about your study groups. Quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but is there something that you guys do in the way that you teach and you prep that you think is different that the rest of the community might want to look into as far as for getting those types of successes?
I was going to ask that too, because you guys are running at 100% success rate, and that doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
No, well, actually, I've got the general class study group is a series on YouTube that I put out there. We went through about 5 or 6 classes, and I wouldn't say I got tired of doing it, but I needed to make it more accessible. So I took the PowerPoint presentations and made videos out of them. So if someone wants to go through the general, they can do it at their own pace. I've yet to put the technician on, but I looked at the FCC test. There's at least 2 objectives that we try to cover in our study group. One, obviously, is to pass the test. And the other one is it's also a learning experience. And I tried to explain the technical information simply enough that the student can use it when they become a ham. Just don't memorize the answers, but to get an understanding of what you're doing, because that's the fun of ham radio, trying all this stuff out. But the process we'd ask them to go through is we'd use the ARRL book, and we'd ask them to read the chapter before the study group, work all the questions in that, and then I would go through. It would typically be an hour presentation per chapter, and then we'd go over the questions. And it's just has worked pretty effectively. And the people that come to do it are committed to doing it. You know, that's the.
But it sounds like what you're doing. I think the key, just from sitting here for a few seconds listening to you, because I'm going through that. I'm going through the motions right now. I want to get my extra, and right away, I'm 20 minutes into this, I'm like, this question. So it's one question, and then 3 questions later, they take the same topic and they just reverse it a little bit. And it's very weird why they're doing that. I don't understand why. And then my brain starts questioning it. And now I'm wasting my brain power questioning why are they doing it. And then we're going to get into, do I really need to know this for what my objectives are for me to obtain the extra? I do not need this. But once again, but I think the key that you just said is we have the human element of it, of somebody sitting there in a group and just kind of openly discussing that chapter, which may break down what I just described of why do we have to do it this way? Why are they trying to teach us this? Why are we taking 2 questions out of, what was it? Is it 500 or 624 questions now?
Yeah.
To ask me this, why are we wasting 2 questions on the same exact topic of doing it? But push that all aside. Let's just break down, and like how we're talking together here tonight.
Right. Yeah. The key is to really understand it. There's a difference between knowledge and understanding.
Correct.
And it's the understanding that we try to get across to the folks, because the knowledge is there in the book, but to really understand why, it takes a little explanation sometimes.
Now, did you and Judy take the classes at the same time? Did you guys do it a different way, or what you're describing? Did the both of you go?
Yeah, we did it a different way. The 10 of us.
She's laughing. Look at her.
We had one ham, and we had 3 hams in the community at the time, and one of them came in, and for 4 weeks we met once a week, and he kind of went through the ARRL book with us. So at the same time that we did the technician, I went ahead and read the general manual, and I took both the tech and general when we tested, and then everybody else took the tech. And then because the window was so short, I didn't want to try for the extra at that time. So a couple months later, I went ahead and worked through the book, not because I didn't think I could pass the test, but I wanted to understand the concepts, because I hadn't put my HF station together yet. And I wanted to make sure I understood it well enough to put a good station together.
All right. So what score Judy did? Because I'm looking at the comment here from AJK.
I honestly don't remember.
I didn't even look at my scores. I didn't care.
Passed.
I did do one thing a little different though.
What was that?
For my extra exam, instead of taking a calculator, I took my slide rule that I used in school, because there aren't many of us left that know how to use that. And got a few funny looks at the exam.
And nowadays they probably have an app for that. So
yeah.
So Steve and Judy, we just shared our Steve found your video, so we just shared that with the chat. So, and we'll put it in the description later on. But if you guys want to check that out, check out their study videos on getting your license. That'd be awesome. So it's funny because that's a very different perspective than we hear often about learning and retaining, as opposed to just like surface learning and like you're talking about going in depth and really understand. And a lot of people say just do what you need to do to pass the test. And I think that goes down to like different personalities. Different people have different abilities, right? Right. And so not everybody has the same ability to retain everything by just reading. They have to do. But I'm on the same page as you. Me, I like to learn it and learn it right, and not just pass the test. But very interesting, very, very cool. Well, I want to check out your videos later on.
Pass now, play later. Pass now, play later. That's where
I was just going to say, so many of us have come into this hobby, and then when the internet came around in 95 and 96, remember, guys, it was books only. It was strictly the book. It was either a Gordon West, the ARRL book, and I think there may have been not Wayne Green, but there was another book out there that would help you. But when the internet came along, then all of a sudden they started creating, the websites and the flash quiz, the flashcards. through the internet, and which expanded again the different ways of how people learn. But the question is, are you learning? Daniel, I like what Molson just said. The surface learning, is it surface memorization? Again, I don't want to turn this into what kind of learning, but it is the whole point of, again, get it. But I do agree with Beer Snack. I myself, I'm just one of those people. I'm going to get it, and then all of a sudden, whether it's 6 months later or 6 years later, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that was on my test, and now I know why it was on my test. And now I'm really, it's like you're getting hungry for it, and it's making sense and it's making happy, versus a long time ago, it was all that frustration of, I gotta get this question. I can only get 13 wrong. So Judy, Melissa, go ahead.
I was just going to say that so some of the guys, some of the people in the chat, they said that they looked in their logbooks and they saw that they made contact with you, Judy. And I just looked into my log, and we made contact on December 6th. So we made contact 8 days ago. And so that's awesome. So you guys do, I guess, a lot of Pota.
I do the Pota.
You do the Pota.
Yeah. Contrary to what it appears right now, is Steve doesn't like to talk. And
I like talking about important stuff.
Steve does the prepping, and you do the Pota.
Well, we both set up. The last 2 weeks we've done, Pota brought in all the Pennsylvania state game lands into the park system. So you saw that the state of Pennsylvania went from 147 parks to over 400 and some.
Don't you love when that just happens? You have I almost have my work all state, my work all within my state, and boom.
Yeah. And one of the great things is one of the game lands is right out the back gate of Treasure Lake. It takes me 10 minutes to get there. Nice. And so I've been working there, and especially during the winter months, it's a great time, I think, to work on your Kilo Awards. And so we've been back there. That's probably where you made contact with me. And the week before and this past weekend, I made over 200 contacts. I was there 158 minutes and made 204 contacts. So it was, it was really good. So I'm the one that we both set up. I have a Pota hut. I don't know if you've, I sent some pictures in. What I ended up buying was an ice fishing tent. It sets up in about 5 minutes. It was raining.
Red and black?
It's red and black. Do you have the fat? I've been meaning to ask you. Yeah. Do you? Because I bought mine last year. I bought the Fat Fish 9490, the insulated one, and I wasn't sure what you ended up getting. Do you remember your model number?
It's
3i.
Yeah, it's the 3i. It was a 3-person.
Okay, so yours is slightly smaller than mine. That's all.
And it's just fine. It's got the 2 doors. It's got 4 windows. It is insulated.
Right. 5 minutes. You're absolutely right. 5 minutes goes up, and it does protect you from everything, right? From whether it's a light snow or cold.
Pretty heavily last weekend, and I noticed along the seams along the top that there were a few drips coming through, but it even held off the rain. So yeah.
I actually treated mine, and mine's out right now on the back deck. But I've actually treated mine, and I'll shoot you an email of the product that I've used. And
I think 3M makes a product for that.
There's a couple out there, and I've found zero. Listen, nothing is going to protect the hard pouring rain. That's not, but I think for all the other elements, and for guys who don't know what we're talking about, go to Judy's KC3JAS, go to QRZ. You can look at some great pictures. She has set up a wonderful QRZ page, and you could see there with the SUV. And tell us about the antenna, Judy, that you're using.
My primary antenna is a alpha hex antenna. I found it when we went to Hamcation in Orlando. What was that, 2 years ago? And I absolutely love it. I make a lot of great contacts in it. But that being said, I also have a buddy stick for when the weather is bad. Steve doesn't like the alpha hex tenna. It slides out, and he doesn't particularly like getting it soaking wet. I guess because it takes a while to dry and maybe impede some of the sliding. So
that's the electrical. You married an electrical engineer, right? So
yeah.
I'm sure even around the house, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that all day long, right?
Yeah, especially when they retire.
However, on the other side of the house, when he wants to go buy something, are you the accountant saying no, we don't have the money?
Nah, I never say we don't have money.
Can I give you a quick story about that?
Absolutely.
We were in a gun shop one time, and I was trying to decide whether to buy this AR-15 and 300 blackout. And I couldn't decide. And so she just yells at me. She goes, "Well, just buy the darn thing." She had 4 marriage proposals before we left.
Excellent.
Uh-huh.
Your QRZ page is showing, looks to be a Kenwood radio. Is Kenwood your choice, or do you have many choices?
No, all our radios are Kenwoods. Our HTs, everything. The one in my car.
Oh.
Yeah.
So typically, what, 100 watts do you like to run while you're in the park?
That's yeah. And I have a marine battery that we use. I also have a biennial battery too. We have redundant everything, and that's him. You know, I've got 2-foot pedals. I have a headset. I have a hand button. Yeah, so we have pretty much double everything. And
I think all of us. I guess I'm going to speak for a lot of the guys here who have worked you many times. I mean, one, we love working you because you always have a great signal. That to me, that's that, and you make it easy. But now I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, you got Steve there. We could have got a second. We could have got a second operator out of this one. You're holding back.
He won't do it. He's asleep in the car.
No, after tonight, no, you know what we're all going to do after tonight? Next time you get on the air calling CQ Pota, we're going to say, "Where's Steve?"
I'd slow her down.
No, you won't.
Yeah,
no, you won't.
No, he doesn't. He's usually in the car either smoking his cigar or taking a nap.
Oh,
so it would take a while to get him in there.
Time out.
You said another magic word for Don.
Magic word. What kind of cigar, Steve?
All I see is the duck come flying down with the sign hanging out going, "There's the magic word."
Well, my favorite cigars are any Arturo Fuente, but I smoke the truck stop cigars on a day-to-day basis since I retired. Okay. That's my concession to being retired.
Really, Daniel?
Anything Arturo Fuente is just terrific.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right.
That's a great question. This is a great question from one of our viewers.
I can't believe
it.
Aunt, thank you. Thanks, Aunt. Appreciate it. Aunt just bought us a beer. Thank you.
No.
Oh. Yeah, so I was the one that bought him the new radio. I've been kind of pushing him to maybe get an amplifier too. When we were at Hamcation, I bought a set of solar panels, which we have yet to use yet. I don't know. It's all about the equipment.
Oh, we got Shane involved here.
Yep.
Yeah. See, Shane can hide, but he's not really hiding. Because cigars brings him
He's
out.
not working hard either.
Yeah, he's not working hard. Yeah.
Ham Radio Clubhouse, can you ask Judy if they have the funds to buy Molson a TS 990S?
That's a wonderful question.
Oh, that is a wonderful question. I think the answer is going to be no.
No. The accountant just spoke.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I love this radio. And then I use that for the PAQSO party each year too.
What it is.
Nice.
Oh. Yes, we have the TS 890. Well, if they're looking at my QRZ page, they'll see it.
Oh, I see.
I bought that as a Christmas present.
I'm on it right now. Right. I'm on it. I'm actually on it right now. You got some wonderful pictures.
I'm on the Kenwood online store. I'm just waiting for you to send your Visa card number over. I have this. All of a sudden, I got this thought from our conversation. Do you guys have like a big antenna set up at home? Like,
no.
No?
We have first HF.
HOA. We have an HOA.
Hell on earth.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the problem. But the first antenna I went with for our HF station was my antenna's in-fed halfway. I did a lot of research on it, and it looked like a good place to start because that's all I needed to do was start. And then after Judy got her general and started getting into the contesting, she insisted on better antennas for the PAQSO party. So I designed and built 3 resonant dipoles for 20, 40, and 80 and put them up in the trees. And she gets excellent reports from that. The 80 meter, the hill slopes down to the lake. It's probably about 75 feet up on this end where we're at. And then as it goes towards the lake, it ends up about 150 feet above the ground. So it's up there pretty well. And, we can work Europe, all over the country, South America, on 100 watts with those dipoles.
Last week we were one of the big questions was feed line. What kind of feed line are you using at the house?
What is it, RG8X, or I forget numbers. I forget anything I can look up, but it's just your standard coax cable.
There you
and
go.
I bring all the antennas into an 8-position switch, and then bring that in the output of the 8-position switch. So that's worked out.
And based upon being in Pennsylvania, you guys see the various 4 seasons of hot in the summer to a lot of snow in the winter to the beautiful fall and everything. So you're getting it all, and I know just by like I said, so many of us have had this great opportunity of working on the Pota. Cold weather doesn't seem to slow you down. It may just add an extra challenge or two, but correct?
Yeah. No, I like working in the snow. When I first started Pota, it's been about 2.5 years ago, I think. I worked on a picnic table in the snow, and I did all my recording by hand. And I did sit outside.
Oh,
so
paper? Did you say paper? Paper log?
Oh. But then what I found out is when you make 100, 200 contacts and you have to come home and enter them into the computer, oh my gosh, it was taking me hours. Yeah. And so that's when I found FJP. And
N3.
Yeah, N3 FJP.
Yep.
And I absolutely love that program. Whenever I make contact with anybody, you enter the name, you enter the call sign and their name pops up. And so you get it at the personal touch. And I always call them by their name if it's in there. And then the other added is when they come back with their location, if it's a little bit different, you think, oh, maybe I got the call sign right. Maybe I didn't hear that right. So I really, really like that program. And it's kind of fun. I like just being out in the weather. And so it's kind of nice sitting out there with the snow coming down all around and nobody else in the park. One park, Parker Dam, the parks that have winter activities like snowmobiling and cross-country skiing, that park has heated restrooms. And to me, that's a big plus.
Yeah.
Something after how many shows, guys? We never, something we need to know. We need to note that when we do our year-end review, Judy says heated restrooms.
Yes.
They're a must. Yes.
Yeah.
So
they are. You guys have it easier than us women do. So. Yeah.
Shane wants to know the photo that we used for the thumbnail on tonight. Was that from a Pota activation?
Mm-hmm. That was SB Elliott State Park, and it was. I got some great photos from that activation. It really was snowing, and that park's only about 15-20 minutes from our house.
Judy,
That's
with the amount of snow that you guys do get, do you have the, like, I know here in Connecticut, it varies here in Connecticut as far as snow, especially my location. I'm either going to get the rain or we're going to get a lot of snow. But my parks, when they get shut down because they got to do the cleanup, do you guys experience that also in PA where the parks, you have it all planned out, but you got to have a plan B because if it snowed, those parks could be literally closed because they got to do their work of the clearing out the parking lots, etc. No,
honestly, we've never run into a park being closed.
excellent,
We
good.
have helped other people get unstuck because they were in not four-wheel drive vehicles and things like that. That's why I say one of the things you always take with you is a snow shovel.
Oh yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, emergency knows no holiday. If we're going to talk about emergency preparedness, emergency just knows no holiday. So,
yeah.
So there's actually a really good question, and that is, any tips or tricks for keeping your batteries warm during the winter? I'm always looking for ideas.
Yeah.
That's
Scouts
in
the Wisconsin area.
Yeah, that's the Pota hut. I sit in my Pota hut and I have a propane heater.
What do you use?
It's a Mr. Buddy.
Mr. Buddy.
Two
Mr.
1 pound
Buddy.
propane heaters. Yeah. 1 pound tanks in it.
Yep.
And I keep it on low. I kid you not. It's been cold and I keep it on low and I am just fine. The other little thing that I found out that is very, very helpful is I take a little small rug with me because I use a foot pedal. And I would put my foot pedal on the ground and there's snow or ice and we'll shovel it out too. And it'll go sliding across the floor every time you put on it. So the rug really helps too. So yeah.
Absolutely. Judy, everything that you have described is the same thing that I went through my own trial and error, as well as going on YouTube and going on and watching the shows that, again, I was watching the YouTube channels of guys who are out there fishing. I have no intention of using mine for fishing. I'm going to use it for something else. But again, a lot of the things of how to stay warm safely, because you got to have a little ventilation going.
Yep.
But the flooring is something that is really important because heating up is one thing, but you want to try to do it efficiently, and you're running it on low. Again, last winter field day, when I participated with winter field day, it was 20 degrees here in Connecticut, but I was sitting at 55.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always take off my jacket. Yeah. Or sometimes the sweatshirt because it gets, too warm in there. So,
it does.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're having fun.
Is it a rug or is it like a welcome mat that says "go away" or "keep out" or wipe your paws?
It's basically like one of those small front door mats. And the other thing is I don't know whether you've noticed when you're sitting there, a lot of cold air comes up through the ground. So you've got the air in your Pota hut warm, but your feet are down there on the ground. So that's what I said. It also gives you an extra layer of protection.
I'm going to give you a tip.
Yeah, I've got a little video on YouTube of me setting up my Pota hut on a very, very windy day.
I did the same. Again, the trials and errors. I got the stuff posted up on Smoke Signals RF, but one of the things that I'm playing with right now is, again, because right now the tent is out on the deck. So the deck has, the air coming up. I don't want that. So I just have one of those indoor-outdoor rugs, which is perfect. Mm-hmm. Absolutely perfect because they're made to take a little moisture if it does get wet. But more importantly, it keeps the cold air from rising, keeps the heat in there, and it's absolutely perfect. So,
Don, what do you have? The green mat? So you can also sit there and putt while you're in there?
No. I find a nice decorative, nothing too, nothing 60s, but
something sewer proofs.
Yes. Yes, actually, she's the one who picked them out. And the only thing I haven't done in there is cook. That's the only thing I have not done inside my tent is cook. But so you said now you guys have over 400 parks. Do you know where you are in your Pennsylvania quest to work them all?
71. For that, when we went to Amplification, we did one in Florida, and one of my daughters lives in New Orleans, so we did several, I think 4 in New Orleans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but it's going to take a long time. You know how you do. You start close to home and you work out farther and farther and farther. And what we've been doing a couple of weekends is we take long weekends, and then we'll hit about, well, one time it was 11 parks in one weekend. But I have trouble. If I've got a pile up and I can't leave, I just can't leave. So those radar awards, they don't mean nothing to me. I'll keep going until either the band goes dead or there's a lull, and then I'll leave. But if I
all right, so now your account. All right, now I got to ask you a question because so, and I've done this so many times, and when my wife comes out with me, she actually now it's a joke. I'm sitting at 91. I can't leave at 91. I either got to hit 95 or I got to just go for 100. You being an accountant, because I know accountants are with numbers. Is it the same thing? Is it a number thing at a certain point for you that or I won't leave with an odd number. I'm going to end with an even number. Are you somewhere in that realm of?
Yeah, but sometimes that doesn't happen. I mean, when the bands go bad, they'll go bad. My goal now, the last couple, it's 200. I mean, I want to break 200 in the worst way when I go out now. So
no kidding. Look at you.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's all about the numbers sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm working for a kilo, the kilo award. So I mean,
Excellent.
5 200s and you got your kilo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What else? So
I think
what
it's.
else
I
do you guys
see.
do? I'm also good.
So last week I was saying how I don't think it's gonna be that difficult to get a kilo. I did an hour and a half activation with a buddy, made 146 contacts. Now, obviously, I have to make sure all the stars align and everything like that. Propagation is good, but I think Judy and I are going to be in the same caliber of Pota Activators. It's a little big talk for me, only doing one Pota activation before, but it's on. I have a little bit of a.
Since everybody's asking, this is the Mr. Buddy. Okay.
Yep.
This is the Mr. Buddy next to a bottle of beer. Okay. All right. Beer for reference. All right.
And I'm gonna put out the shameless plug. If you go to Smoke Signals RF YouTube channel, you will see me with the Mr. Buddy heater, along with a stovetop fan of how you can help direct the heat, so it doesn't go all the way up and everything. So go to Smoke Signals RF. Shameless plug, but it works and it keeps me warm. Keeps us.
I have seen those. Yeah. Well, I also have a Cabela's metal table, folding table that sits in a bag, and actually, if you put the heater just right, it kind of blows underneath that, and the table kind of keeps the heat in around your legs.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, another great, folks. This is why we do what we do on Tuesday nights. Very simple. We share ideas. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. So besides ham radio, anything else that you guys, any other hobbies?
Hold on. Don, I have to ask him your favorite question.
What's that? Oh, ask him.
Judy, what's your favorite band?
I heard you ask Judy that question.
She got you, beer snack. In your face.
Don, you're the one that asked it.
I'm falling for that one.
No, but seriously, what's your favorite band?
What's your favorite band? What do
You
like?
mean radio band?
Whatever.
Oh, I ask a question. You define it how you want to do it.
Well, when you asked her that question, that was my thought, but she took it the other way. I don't know. I personally kind of like 40. I mean, I like 20 because that's where I get my best DXs from, and that always amazes me. That's when I tell people, it's like I did an article for the paper because I won the PAQSO party in my class, and I told them it's kind of like fishing. You throw your line out there and you never know what you're going to get back. And so that's why I like 20, but 40, I get more regional people. Although sometimes with the skips, I've been getting South Dakota, which just absolutely amazes me.
On the short path.
Not
The short
being an
path is long.
engineer, this stuff is more mysterious to me.
Judy, it's all wizardry and witchcraft is all it is. It's all, it's wizardry. And there's no science behind it whatsoever. Okay. You key up the radio and it just puts out energy. That's
I know.
all it is.
Cool
Judy,
stuff.
when I started playing on the HF bands, I mean, really getting into it, the guys would always explain it as 40 on the short path, and then all of a sudden 40 will go long, and of course I'm like, what in the hell are you guys talking about? And now I'm sure that both of us, as well as many others, now once you start playing on 40, depending on where you are located, you kind of draw that circle. Like for me, I know anywhere from and you and I are probably very similar, New Brunswick to where Molson lives, Molson's neighborhood, go down to Michigan, down to,
Carolina.
Ohio is easy, but for some reason Indiana is not. And I don't understand why. What's that D mark between Indiana and Ohio? But it's literally a couple hundred miles from where my location is. And just like you said, going down to where Steve is in the Carolinas. And when 40 goes long, then I can get Alabama. But like today, when I switched over to 20 meters, now all of a sudden I'm working West Coast. I'm working Missouri, Idaho, Nevada, Wisconsin, Arizona. Again, this is part of the hobby is what you learn. You're not always going to work different states, different operators. Because you got to remember too, that other operator could be running 1,500 watts and maybe a Yagi pointed towards you, but the average individual is probably not. So it's going to take a different band.
Speaking of, we're Hoosiers. We both grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana, and a year or so ago, I was always getting Indiana on 40, always. And then you're right, something has happened. And I don't get it as I don't. Not as much.
Yep. And today, I was working a whole bunch of guys in Texas, and I was hoping maybe, I know Shane was at work, so but I'm saying to myself, where's Joe Brett? Where the heck is Joe Brett? Where's Jason? Where's all the guys down in Texas, SKT? But I figured they're all working and everything. But again, it was a great opportunity. Where the heck is MRD Mike? I know he was on the West Coast, but he should have been back in Texas by now. But I'm working everybody from Corpus Christi all the way to Southwest Texas. Then guys from Arizona are coming in. So, but again, 20 meters allows that. And today was not again from what the veterans tell me. Today is just a prelude of what's going to be coming. And I'm like, oh my God, are you right?
Dawn, you saying that, I was thinking to myself the other day, and I thought this so many times. I'm convinced that most people in the ham radio hobby don't work because my ham alert goes off in the middle of the day, and I'm talking young people. And then you're on Discord, you pop into Discord, and you're just like, where do people have time to write all these these chapters of books? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. I think it's either they're rich or they don't got a job or they're working from home. Because Steve
that's what it is.
KO4 AFL. I'm here. I'm at work, and all of a sudden my phone goes off, and there's Steve doing FT8 like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what the heck?
Hold on, 911. Hold on, 911. Hold on for a minute. I'm in the middle of this.
Yeah, let me finish this QSL.
Well,
I don't care if he's coming after you with a knife.
There's my work computer.
5'9".
My work computer. It's updating right now.
So wait, Don, you were sitting there complaining you couldn't get Joe in the log in the last couple of days. I got Joe in the log last week. Working. I was working.
No, when Joe went out, I was once again. So
No. Joe was home. This was Sunday.
Sunday I was but Sunday I was working on Sunday, and you can check my time card. That's right. Get out that violin, because guess what? Excuse me, but I went out yesterday. I went out today, and guess who's going to go out tomorrow?
So you guys. So Dawn, you guys were mentioning Junie. I got to get her back. We got to get her back on the show, Junie, because on Saturday, you guys know my son has ducks, right? He has 3 ducks. So on Saturday, my wife's like, we got to go get. My wife wasn't like, hey, we got to go get it. She's like, your son bought more ducks. So my wife goes with the van. She goes to go get the ducks. Now, I said, make sure you bring blankets, and we brought the big dog kennel to put them in. I think he picked up 4 of them. Anyways, my wife calls me. She's on her way back, and she's trying to speak, but at the same time, she's like, and she's like, these ducks stink so bad. Literally, they shit all over the back of the van, except for they were on the shipping blankets, right? I told them to put shipping blankets. She comes home. They had to carry them to the car. Shit all over her jacket and everything like that. She was not in a good mood. But my son bought 4 more ducks, so that's 7 now. I don't know what we're gonna do with them. Like, they're a useless animal. Sorry, Junie, I love ducks, but come on, they're an emotional support animal. And besides for that, what do they bring? Greasy meat.
No, eggs.
The eggs are good.
Eggs.
Duck eggs.
Duck eggs. They're a required taste.
Yeah, they're stuck all orange.
Yeah. They're like a very different texture for the egg, right? So.
Scrambled eggs for me.
I have Christmas story in my head right now. That's all I've got. He's smiling.
He's smiling, but fa la 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 la.
Did you guys see? Not to change the subject. Did you see my picture of my Christmas tree that we got?
No, where did you post?
It's
that?
Massive. So you guys have seen my living room. It's like a vaulted ceiling living room. So we're like, we want a big Christmas tree because any short Christmas tree looks like a short, like 8 feet looks short in there because it's like 25 feet high. So my wife wanted a real Christmas tree. So we went Sunday. We went late because when it goes dark, they shut it down, the tree farm. And so we rushed. It's an hour away. We rush there. We get there just, people are starting to leave, whatever. And so they're like, there's 2 fields that you can go to. We go to the first one and there's not much selection. It's mostly Charlie Brown trees. We go to the second field, same thing. And we saw some nice big trees, but we're like, well, let's go see if there's anything else. There wasn't. So that was our choice. We went. They give you this stick, like it's like a U shape, and you hold it up, and it's like, okay, it's 8 feet. So I look at it, I'm like, okay, it's like roughly 9-10 feet. And the thing is, the bottom 5 foot of the trunk was bare. They had trimmed it. So it's 5 feet of bare, and then there's the top part of the tree. So we're like, that's it. That's the one we're getting. So I cut it down. Worst saw ever. Like you start to cut and like the blades all like, horrible tools, implements. Anyways, down, and we had brought one of those sleds that they.
I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Did you record this for YouTube?
No, dude, I should have because it was so.
You
funny.
should have. That's
because I had to ask the guy because we showed up in my wife's van. And I borrowed my mom's car. I had it for the weekend. So my wife's van and my mom's car, because I figured we would take down a tree, we put it through the net wrapper, because they have those net wrappers, and we put it in the van. And if I had to, I'd drive with the back tailgate open. So, of course, we cut the tree down, we bring it, and it was super heavy. I had one of the sleds that they gave you. And the guy says, "Oh, that's too big. That's too big to go through the net wrapper." I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's like way too big to go through it. So I tell my son, Josh, I asked him if they had baler twine. So we lay out baler twine, and I tell my son to jump on the tree. It's lying down so he can compress it.
Oh, man, that's a YouTube video, right? We build, we learn. We build, we learn.
We start tying it, and then we tied it, and it looked like flat, like oval. So then we turned it 90 degrees, and we tried to do it again. So we're like, great, it's pretty good. Let's take it to the car. And the guy literally, he just put his hand on his head. He turned around. He's like, "You're going to ruin the tree." I'm like, no, we're not. Take it to the van. It's not going to fit in the back of the van, right? And I'm an hour away from home. I can't call a buddy and be like, "Hey, can you come with your pickup truck or anything?" So I said, well, it's going on top of mom's car. Oh, and this thing. All
right, Griswold.
That's what I'm saying. Clark.
And you guys have the pictures? You guys have the pictures? Or do I have to go find them?
Share that picture with us.
It is. Hold on, I got to log into the good old.
For those of you listening on the podcast, we're going to see a Christmas tree. That Daniel.
I'm telling you, it's literally the base of the tree is a 10-foot diameter. No lie. The base is 10-foot diameter.
10 feet.
Wow,
dude, that's a sick. Dude, that's a boom for a Yagi Uda, for crying out loud.
Well, the boom for mine's 32 feet.
32 feet. Right. That's what I'm thinking
So,
of. So that's
hold on.
1/3. Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne's
Hey,
here.
Dwayne, get you
Long
something
time,
for
brother.
Clark. Something real nice.
Nice. Real nice.
Hold on, it's coming. I got pictures coming up here. Hold on, let me.
So it's Christmas. While we're waiting here, Dan, so it was actually at the Christmas tree farm where you cut this thing down, and it wasn't back on the way back home. Just pulling over to the side of the road and grabbing one.
Well, luckily it was dark because, like, I wouldn't want to get pulled over by the cops. Like, so I got to share you the picture here.
Sure,
So-
Christmas tree is going a little bit.
Wow.
past the speed limit.
That's
Dude, what the hell did you get? No, wait a minute. Wait. How did you get that in the house?
so. Hold on, I got more pictures to show you.
I want to see how he gets it out of the house. Forget
Okay,
about
that's
how
my
he got it.
11-year-old son. Okay, my like, so like he's got his arms across. I don't know how much, but that is a 10-foot diameter base. Okay, and so you can see here it goes 9. It's probably about 11 and a half feet tall. It looks small in my living room, but that's what that is. Let me see if I have some. I have some more. Hold on.
Yeah, Kurt, I've got the same question, but it happens on occasion. Since when
What's
does
that?
Molson use feet as a measurement?
All the time.
Absolutely. See, he's been hanging around us Americans. See, we're gonna get him converted over.
Here.
No more this kilo stuff and centimeter stuff.
So that's it at my front door.
That's as far as would you have to take.
Did you
off
have
the
to
frame?
invite it in? I mean, crud.
I had to pull. I had to pull, and my two sons were pushing it through. I was afraid I was going to twist the door frame to get it through. Okay. And I got to see if I have a picture of it on the top of the car, because the worst part is you take a picture of it. You think, oh, those are my kids a few years ago.
There you go. That's a beauty, Clark.
Like it looks puny. It looks puny on top of the car, but you have no, like, in person, it looked like it was just massive. Like it was just huge. And yeah, that's on the top of my mom's car. So I had to, there were so many, I wanted to erase all the evidence that it happened. So luckily I had a blanket, and that car has like 2 sunroofs in it. So I was really afraid that like it would break the glass. So,
I'm sorry. I'm actually googling Christmas vacation, famous quotes here, and this is Clark talking to Russ. He says it's not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in the living room. That's perfect for your house right there, man.
Kurt, I read that. He says, good-looking kids. Does Molson know if he is really the father? Goodness gracious. Banned for life.
So there's a couple other ones in here. You could put a Pac-10 Mini in that thing, and yes, you probably could. And then another one here, you could put a repeater on top.
Yes.
And has the squirrel jumped out yet?
So we pull it in the house, and then I said to my wife, I said, what if there's like a squirrel in here? Because that is a true, like, genuine concern, right? Like, is there a squirrel? So luckily I have 2 dogs that would probably destroy it if they're fast. And then at the same time, I was like, listen, I drove with that thing home for an hour, driving like 65, 70 miles an hour. If it's still in there,
got to thaw out first.
Yeah. So
All the
You had
road
a
chilled out.
stand big enough for it. You had a stand that it fit in.
well, there's some baler twine left over from when we tried to collapse it.
They
and
tied it to the stairs.
Tied it to the stairs.
Because it
He has,
literally.
he has to bring in the garden. He has to bring in the garden hose every 3 days to water the tree because.
Judy, what you can't see is he really tied it to the top, and he's got it hanging from the ceiling. And he's got a keg bucket underneath that he waters it with.
No, these are all first world struggles. How do you stop the Christmas tree from falling over? That's for sure. Because it started to fall over. I had my 16-year-old son, he was tightening the base to it, and I was like, okay, hands off. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoop, grab it and tie it up. So, but my youngest son loved it because he could pretty much fit every ornament we have in the house. Like, and come on, you guys know when you do the ornaments, you're like, okay, space it nicely and all that. Well, that kind of goes out the window with my son because it's like you have 4 of them side by side, and it's like, like they don't understand the concept of how to decorate a tree. But that's okay. He was happy. He has like 400 ornaments up there. And
So Daniel, which kid's going to be the ornament on the top?
we've never.
30 years. Listen, I'm gonna give you two scenarios. One's gonna be they're either gonna be in therapy, or they're just gonna be around talking, saying, you remember back in 2021 when Dad brought in that tree that was so freaking big.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we said. All the memories that are being, the memories. But like, so my mom. So that was Sunday night, and then my mom texted me. She says, "Hey, can I come get my car back?" And I'm like, I went outside and there's like pine needles and all this stuff on the roof. Like you could tell there was a tree on the roof. It was just like so much got left on there. So I was like, I want to wash it for you, Mom. Tomorrow I'm going to take it to the drive-thru and clean it.
May and June, and they're going to find the needle somewhere in the exhaust. Mike, you're good. Mike is good. Mike is good.
I've got his tree topper right here.
Yeah.
So, Judy and Steve, you guys have a Christmas tree also?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do. It's artificial.
Oh my God.
Do you have a dipole? Is it being used for one end of the dipole or for the sloper?
We cut back to a smaller tree. We had a 9-foot tree, and it got to be too much climbing up on the ladder to decorate the tree. So I bought a 6-foot tree, and it's just perfect. Actually, it sits on wheels, and it's got a bag that pulls up over it. So I just roll it out into the garage when the season's over.
You see,
Nice.
Molson, that could have been your option, but no, you chose the other way.
Yeah, but see, I kind of feel like it's the artificial, the real. It's kind of like the friction between amps and QRP. I think don't think, no, Joe. We have an artificial when but we wanted to have a real one. So that was
Jack and Greg.
Jack and Greg always comes through. Thank you,
For
brother.
Daniel's Christmas tree light bill.
the thing is, my kids are
You
obsessed.
guys better
with
buy some more
decorating.
beers for that bill. I'm sorry.
My kids are obsessed with decorating. My son called me the other day. He went to town with my wife, and they went to the store. And he's like, "Dad, how many strings of lights do we need to go across the front of the house if we have, this length of lights?" I said, "I don't know, 4 or 5." He goes, "Okay, I'm buying 10 boxes." So my son bought $240 in Christmas lights for the outside of the house. My kids love decorating. So if we didn't get it,
wait a minute, hang on. What you just brought, that's a whole algebra equation with a base of 10 feet at 10 feet tall with a 90-degree over here. How many lights are you going to need? Holy
How many
shit,
lights are you going to need to put around the cone?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Get out.
Holy-
Get out. We don't math on stream.
Do you guys do this?
No.
So in my house, yeah, I bet you all do. In my house, somebody puts up an ornament, and we all have our favorite ornament, but I may not like where it is. So when I'm inconspicuously walking, next to it, I'll move the ornament. Then all of a sudden, somebody moves it again. I'm like, don't touch the ornament. Or usually it's Sue who's telling me, don't touch the ornaments, Don. Just leave them as is. But I get
like the elf
anal,
on
and
the shelf.
yeah. Oh, don't even go there with that elf on the shelf thing. He's just sitting there this year. That's all he's doing. He's just sitting. He's not moving. Those
And
days
little
are
does
over.
Don know, Sue's in the chat. So,
Oh, cripes! Is she really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, where's
She's been
that
in
flip
chat
flop?
all night long.
Where's that flip flop? She's gonna hit me with the flip flop.
She's been here from the beginning.
you'll see it come down the stairs.
No, it's true though. I there's one or two ornaments I want in a certain look. I don't know why. I just have to have. Just give me that. Just give me that, and I won't be a pain in the ass for the rest of the season.
I level just off center to the right.
Yeah, something like that. Really. But don't be putting it here, putting it there, because I'm gonna move it. Yes, I am gonna move it. I'm gonna move it. And then for me,
I can't.
oh well.
Don, I'm gonna put string through these. Right, I'm gonna send them to you. They better be hanging on your Christmas tree when I come up.
I was just gonna say, I want Judy and Steve to come. Guys, when you guys want to go on a road trip, you guys come to Connecticut. I'll show you. We'll have fun in some great parks, and I don't care what time of the year it is. It makes no difference. Anytime you guys feel like going for a ride, if you want to go out to Rhode Island, I've really been liking some of the Rhode Island parks. They're just fun, and especially now off season, it's kind of nice too. So.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come to Pennsylvania Park too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. As our kids get older, we like going back on date nights and date weekends. So
Don, they're college age, right?
High school.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they're going to be looking at colleges soon, right?
Maggie's a junior, so it's funny when the mail comes in now.
Because there's a lot of colleges in Pennsylvania.
Oh, there's a lot of colleges in all 50 states.
Don, did I hear an Alaska college calling?
What? University of Hawaii?
Hey,
now we're talking.
I have no problems with going to Mississippi, and I can go hang out with Joe down there. See, Joe's got. Listen, I'll bet you, Joe. I'll bet you there's enough room for me to sit inside your shack with you, right?
Oh yeah.
Another chair. See, there you go. See,
yeah.
We're all set. We're all set.
Put you over in the dark.
That's where the best lighting is.
long as it's near the foot pedal and the VFO, that's all I need.
All right, so real quick, let's jump back into here. We have a question in the chat here from AJ. What headset do you use, Judy, and how many different states have you activated?
I use a Heil headset. And states, I've only been in 3 states. Florida, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. Yeah. Pennsylvania's kept me busy enough.
Oh, I can imagine.
We quickly go out on weekends. We have no kids at home. Our kids are all.
Well, wait a minute. Did you say there's 433 parks now for that state?
Yeah, 430 some. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we are the second largest. If I remember, I looked it up. I think New York. No, yeah, I think New York has more than us. We are the second largest number of parks in the Pota system, I believe. Second largest now.
Steve, fact check.
Checking.
Fact checking.
Checking.
Hey, come on, Steve is our fact check expert for especially for Pota.
Yeah,
all things Pota, as well as
I
other
think
topics.
New York has the most, and I think we were second because of course, it upset me just a little bit. But then we have so many state game lands around us geographically that I thought, oh, this is a good deal. But the one thing about the state game lands is there's nothing there. I mean, there's no really pretty sights to see. There's no restrooms. You're lucky if you've got a place to pull off the road in the state game lands. Plus, there's hunters. So you'll see my pictures. I'm always wearing orange. And
but it's a good color.
Again, yeah, and again, because it's sometimes there's not enough room, I can't really use my Pota hut. I sit out the back end of the SUV.
470 parks in Pennsylvania.
Oh. Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So do a county and work on your kilo, and like you said, and the hell with the radar.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And then you've got to convert. It's not miles. What is it? It's
kilometers.
Kilometers.
Yeah, kilometers.
Go ask Molson. Then you got to send it up. You got to send it up to Molson, and he's got to do the conversion for you.
Well, he did the conversion. He's got a formula he put in Excel for me, but still, you've got to keep track of every place you go. So it's like, and that's not my favorite award.
New York is at 800 parks.
Can you imagine?
Really? Wow, 800 parks. Jesus. Oh man.
And that's just the ones that are in that state. That's not the ones that cover multiple states that cross through.
Oh.
So they could be actually higher than that.
Nice.
Judy, what do you think is going to be your next ham radio purchase? If you had to purchase something.
I don't know.
What do you want? What
I
do you
want an
need?
amplifier.
Okay.
But the one thing about an amplifier is when I do the PAQSO party, I'm, low power. And because of where we live and because of our antenna situation, I don't have a nice tower. If I move up to high power, I'm going to be competing against the big boys, and I'm not going to do as well. So there's a little bit of scheming that goes along with that.
Well, you don't have to use the amplifier.
No, I don't have to use it, but it would be kind of nice. I think you'd get more DX contacts, and so I was almost going to buy one for Christmas, but I was afraid he'd get mad.
Well, the problem.
The
problem with that decision to get the amplifier is if you go through the calculations and look at the increase in S level signal you would have with an amplifier and a tower, say a directional Yagi, it gets you up to, I think, about 5 S units compared to where we are now.
2D, which is what, 2.5 dB, I believe, right? 6 S,
Yeah,
6 S units. Wait, I'm saying that wrong.
I forget the numbers. Anyway, the amplifier really didn't make sense unless you could get the full benefit of upgrading the antennas also, because you wouldn't get that much of an improvement overall just with the amplifier.
My grandfather used to do that with me because, again, he back in the 50s and 60s, he was buying an amplifier or building his own and everything. And then all of a sudden, the man one day just did a whole 180 degrees and went to 50 watts and sat there for a real long time, and then actually went into 5 watts. And then the bug really, the poison got him and saying, I could do this on 1 watt, a quarter, And one day I challenged him. I said, Gramp, I said, I don't get it. What are you doing? He's like, you don't understand. After all these years, he says, put your money into feed line and antennas. Don't worry about the amplifier. And I'm actually seeing that now, but like you guys just said, every once in a while, maybe that amplifier would be kind of nice. But it does add a challenge, because I kind of see what if I'm hearing Judy right, if you guys are doing a lot of primary operating out in the field, to power the amplifier, now we're talking a whole different battery source that we're going to have to invest in.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for a portable operation.
It wouldn't be for portable. That's for the house.
Because she's able to cover the whole North America now with her hex 10 and a 100-watt Kenwood into Europe. And so for, the thing is, you have to go back to your initial problem definition. What are you wanting to do? And our basis for portable operation is emergency communication. And, if it's the end of civilization as we know it, I'm not going to be too concerned about DX. I just want to know what's going on, nearby and around the country. But absolutely, it's just what you want to do with it.
Well, I'm going to turn this into right now with all of our great guests, and you guys are obviously on the mantle for that one. I'm going to do some of the fast round quick questions. So, are you guys ready?
Wait, hold on. Before that, Steve, did you say hex? She's got a hex beam?
No, it's
portable.
The trade name is Hex Tenna from Alpha Antennas.
Alpha Hex Tenna.
Hex 10.
Go to the Google.
I'm not going to go to the Google right now. I'm taking notes.
I'm
taking notes. I Google later. Google later.
When
I don't
we
Google
were
now.
Hamcation, she's the one that spotted it. The thing that caught my eyes, they had it pulled out full width on the display behind their booth. Oh, holy cow, that's truly a resonant antenna.
Is that the antenna that's on Judy's QRZ page?
Yeah.
Yep. That's a massive tripod on that thing.
Oh, that's interesting. So, and it's supposed to bow like that. That's a natural.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And when you go to 40, you've got additional clips you clip on it, and then the clips go out to the ground.
So that'd be a length,
right? So it extends the length. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is
that?
Don't
share your screen. I want to see it.
Is it omni? Is it omni directional?
No. It's he has a model where he uses 2 elements or 4 elements actually. That is a Yagi, but the one we have is just the 2 elements.
This is it.
But it just works so well because it's simple math and physics.
And what does it take to and again, so for us who like to play out in the field, whether it's Pota or for any other, on air event, how long does it take to set that up?
About 5 minutes. Put the tripod on or set the tripod up. There's a hexagon box that screws into the top of the tripod. That antenna there is alpha antennas. I think he calls it the FMJ. It's a 10 to 80 meter, no tuner required antenna. The tripod for that antenna, that looks like my tripod. Is that one of those surveyor's tripod, or is that a particular?
It came with it.
Yeah, it came with the vertical antenna. The first antenna I bought from Alpha was that vertical, and then when we saw the hex antenna, I just could use the same tripod that I had for the vertical. But Steve sells that on the Alpha Antennas web page.
Now, Judy, when you're inside the Eskimo, I saw. What do you use for lighting? Do you have any special? Any recommendations for any people out there?
Actually, I don't use lighting. It's got 4 windows and I can pull the flaps down. And I will tell you that when you're using a computer, it's nice to have it darker. That was always one of the problems when you're sitting out on a picnic table on a bright day, which I prefer to do in the summer. You have trouble seeing your screen. So I like sitting in there in the dark.
All right, I'll give you a hint then for what I tried. So I have these emergency lights, and it's red. And I mounted up there, and sort of like what the policemen use and fire trucks got, for public safety, with a lot of other federal agents use in their vehicles.
You saw the pictures, the ones where you were going down and showing the hex antenna, the one that had the white domed objects. That's Cherry Springs State Park here in Pennsylvania, and it's an international dark sky park. And it is known for, you go there in the evenings and you can spend the night there in the fields and see the stars. You could actually see the Milky Way there with your just your eye in good weather. And everything there, your flashlights and everything all have to have red light filters on them.
Oh, so that's what those 2 domes are in the background of one of the pictures there.
Mm-hmm. I'm salivating here. Wait, hang on. But that's late shift. So now you could do late shift from there too.
Oh yeah.
You probably could. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Steve, tell her. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm not a big late shifter. Most of the time in Cherry Springs, we will go out and maybe come back in a day.
All right. I'm going to tell you something. I want you to try a late shift. This is what I want you to do.
Well, I've done it a couple of times.
Okay, all right. So, and if you're sitting on 40 meters after 8 o'clock at night, local time, is much different than in the morning, late morning. So all of a sudden, 40 meters opens up at night where you can work in. Again, for us here in the Northeast, it's Texas. It's Missouri. It's all of a sudden West Coast can come in. I have not worked Alaska yet on 40. I've only done it on 20. But I'm telling you, Judy.
I just happened to look at the park list. There are 30 parks in Pennsylvania that have not been activated yet.
And those are probably all state game lands.
They are. They are.
And I did 40 of them. I was the first activator for over 40 PA state game lands. That was my goal. I wanted to get my name out there because when you go to the Pota page on the park list, it shows the very first activator.
It does. It does.
Yeah. And I wanted that to be me.
Most of the state game lands that have been activated have only been activated once or maybe twice.
Mm-hmm. So, they're relatively new. It was
just this past summer.
Yeah, just this past summer they brought them into the system. So
yep, because I got a couple of all-time new ones on my way out to Huntsville, only to have somebody turn in a log for the day before I did one of them.
Yep, I had that happen.
Beat you to it.
Yeah, here in Three Land, Bruce Manning used to be our Pota guy that did all the logs, and I think either he or his wife have some health issues. So there's a new person there, and one of my logs, a couple of my logs, and other people's logs weren't getting posted for a couple of weeks. And so I'm out there telling people this is the first time activation of this park, and then I get in and was like, and then two of them weren't. But yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Bruce
Don.
is doing Three Land now.
Don, we're an hour and a half in, and nobody said anything.
About
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that they be accepted into the Ham Radio Clubhouse.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
You got no
opposed?
privileges and no dues. There you go.
Yeah, you guys are honorary members, and do not be strangers. Do not be strangers. Just get in the live chat on Tuesday. Listen, we're always here every Tuesday night.
Well, we are an official club, so your names are going. We don't give the choice.
Actually, a beer snack. Hey, beer snack. According to the roster, do we have a 3 land representing W2 HRC? I don't think we do.
Yeah, because I can
Hoolan?
easily pull that right out of the thin air.
VA3 GKT, VA3 SDO. Come on.
Okay,
Well, it's the
American,
VAs, yeah.
American stations, not DX.
Oh, they don't count.
They don't.
No, DX doesn't count.
Wow. Shots fired.
Judy, if you and Steve would ever like, again, for the 4 times a year when we do operate, W2 HRC, please.
Or when I get bored and go out play Pota without wanting to use my own call sign.
Just shoot us an email. Just shoot us an email ahead of time, and please,
Yeah.
add the club call sign
would
to
be
the,
fun.
and we'll tell you a little bit more about it offline and how we do it. Because we just don't do it for the sake of doing it. It has to be for special monumentous occasions. So, or if beer snack is bored.
So Scout 75 says, not talking metric 3 land, Molson. All right, thank you.
All right, here we go. All right, so now here's the elephant in the room. How come 10 millimeters is the most common hex head? Okay, and you can never find a 10 millimeter socket when you need one. Why? Why? Why?
Because it's interchangeable with 3/8, which is or close to 3/8, which is the most common hex bolt.
But you're going, but then you're going to strip the head.
No, you
But
won't.
I actually have a pack of 10 millimeter sockets that I keep in my motorcycle because I ride a metric motorcycle. And it says on there, leave in package until needed. Sockets may flee. I kid you not.
We have an engineer. Wait, we have an engineer here tonight. Let's let the engineer answer that question. Why is
He's
10
electrical
millimeter-
engineer. All right, Steve. Why do
electrical
10 millimeter
still?
sockets? Why do they continuously disappear? Like, where do they go? Is there a 10 land somewhere that we don't know about?
You're asking. I'm an American engineer. I don't use that.
If you want the real answer, I think it's because 10 millimeters is 0.393 inches and 3/8 is 0.375. And so close. You're talking less than a 30-second difference. It'll do it. And 3/8 is one of the most common size of bolt heads that you'll find in a lot of things. So I think that's why it is. So yeah.
Molson says.
See,
has all the answers.
your standard tools let you down. You got to pull the metric out because the question is, why do you Americans have metric? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, thank you, brother.
Well, hold on. So I got the build sheet for my truck. My truck, my American truck, was made in Canada. That's why I have metric on my truck.
I just saw in the chat. I like Kurt's answer because it really does. It really does follow the socks. It really does. Yes, 2 go in. 2 go into the wash machine. That's all we know. They
fight to the death, and only one comes out.
It has to be. It has to be. But when I go outside, I don't. But when I go out, what do you say?
Where do you think the lint comes from?
All our problems are solved. See, folks, this is why you come here on Tuesday nights. We solve all the problems. We solve
the world's issues.
We really do. Except for one problem tonight. Joe Brett doesn't have any water. That's the only problem we did not solve tonight.
I'm good. He found
quiet.
So
I know he is.
That's normal. So Brian, 88 GI, says he found a 10 millimeter in the wild in a Renfest parking lot. What was going on at the Renfest that they needed 10? They had them back then? Cage match in the dryer.
And there's no tagging out.
Daniel, you need to read this one out loud.
White Sox
Without
turn
laughing.
blue when they die. True story.
I still want to know how Molson's going to get that Christmas tree out of his house in January.
With a chainsaw.
Video.
I don't know, guys.
Gotta be on video.
All I gotta say to you is,
The kids are going to be on one end pushing, and he's going to be pulling. Oh, wait a minute.
And the wife's gonna video the whole thing.
There you go. See, Molson always eats on stream. He always
no, I
eats on
don't.
stream.
No, that's Dixie. I don't always eat on stream.
Where's your blue drink?
I don't.
There's a difference.
There's a reason why they call me Molson.
That's right. That's right. All right,
Well,
listen.
just because we started calling him that, he started drinking it.
Yeah, it's just because he had that box of Molson a year ago on the floor. All right, Judy and Steve, are you ready for, because we love you guys, and if we didn't love you, we wouldn't do this. This is going to be our rapid question round. Since you've been a great, you've hung in there. You haven't had to wash anyone's mouth out with soap. We've been good, fairly good here, I think. So, oh, wait a minute, Mark, my buddy Mo, thank you. Mo, 20 beers?
Wow.
Damn, dude. Mark and I
Thank
go
you,
way
Mark.
back. Mark and I go way back. Hey, Mark, Fat Boy Radio Club right here, right? There you go.
Don, was that back when you were delivering beans?
Yes, it was. Mark is shaking his head. Yes, it was. WPLR 99.1, the Smith and Barber Show, right, Mark? Mo knows. All right. Judy.
Oh, God.
You're coming back from a Pota activation. Applebee's or the roadside stand to get something to eat? Applebee's, Chili's, Ruth Chris, I don't care, or the roadside stand. What do you go to?
We rarely go out to eat. He doesn't like to go out to eat. So we come home and he fixes something.
All right. What's his favorite fix? What does he like? Chicken, fish, or steak?
He fixes a lot of chicken.
All right. Favorite snack? What's your favorite snack?
Me,
Yeah.
potato chips,
What kind of potato chips?
Lay's.
Yes.
Okay. The regular
Hold
ones.
on,
The
hold
one.
on.
The one.
Barbecue or ketchup? Which one?
Yeah, I'm going
Right.
there.
I
I'm
like
going
the
there.
kettle
Deep dive.
cooked, the real crispy ones.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a deep dive on that. I got it covered. You just eat that chicken leg over there. Don't you worry. So no barbecue or sour cream or ridges or the wavy lays.
The vinegar and salt.
Wow.
Mm.
All right. And what about Steve? What's his favorite snack?
Cheetos.
Yeah,
You like
Go with
Fritos?
that.
Nice. I love Fritos. All right. All right. This is for Steve. What's Judy's birthday? When is Judy's birthday?
6/27/51.
Very good.
Oh, you weren't supposed to
Very-
say the year. Now you're in
No,
trouble.
he wasn't, was he?
Well, that's a tough.
Doggos.
We'll edit
I was
that
gonna-
out. We'll edit that out. There'll be a tone
Yeah.
over that next time when we put
I
this
was
out.
going to say. Well, I was going to say. Do I ask? All right. Now, Steve, for a bonus question, when's your anniversary?
Actually, my
What's
good,
that?
my good safe combination is our anniversary date.
So that's why he remembers it.
041070. That's why I never forget our anniversary.
Yeah.
In fact, I tell guys who just get married, young guys, that's what they need to do. Set their gun safe combination, their anniversary, save them a lot of problems.
See, man,
Smart
he's so
man.
practical. He's so practical. He's good. We learned a lot tonight.
Shane, if you're still in the chat, we're gonna need a lot of tones on this one.
No, see, that's the thing. He's got the gun safe, so you're not getting anywhere near the house.
Exactly. We're both NRA instructors.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, come on, I'm very stealthy.
So you
like a
don't
bull.
miss.
What I don't understand.
Go ahead.
Is James Linden says that there's no ketchup chips in the U.S. Is that true?
I
guys
haven't seen
I don't think so. I've seen them.
You've seen them?
Okay.
Oh.
Well, what they'll do, because I used to deliver potato chips, so I can,
We're close to Canada. Maybe they come from there.
I worked for two separate companies. When a new product line came out, it based upon the section of the country. A lot of these tests would be done, and depending on the results of the tests, would determine whether it was going to be mass produced either nationwide or just for that sector. And obviously, the cost involved was a major factor, as well as delivery, and it's called slotting fees. Slotting fees is when you have to pay to get something on the shelf to that retailer, and it goes into the whole equation of do we do it or not.
Judy, Tasty Cake or Hostess?
Hostess. I grew up in the state of Indiana.
Okay. Which Hostess? Which one? Let's deep dive here. Which Hostess?
Ding dongs. Do they
Ding
still make
dong?
them?
Yep.
Yes.
Twinkies, ding dongs, ring
pink
ding.
ones?
Do you? That only came out for
The ring
Pink
dings?
coconut. The pink
No,
coconut.
those are snowballs.
That's what he likes.
snowballs.
The
Yeah, those-
Snowballs.
snowballs.
Ugh. Hostess.
Now, do you,
Okay,
do
no, you know what?
remember?
That's okay. It's a Philly thing. Don't worry about it.
So then you must remember the ring dings that used to come in the tin foil, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then it
I'm
comes.
old enough.
Well, we know your age,
age.
so don't worry about it. Like, you don't have to tell us.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
He does that because I'm older than him.
Ooh. Nope. Not going there. Nope.
I was just, I was going to ask my next question, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to ask.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, we're good.
You had to mute to say, didn't you, Beer Snack?
Yes.
He had to just get it out. So Judy, on your QRZ page, I see you're holding up some.
Targets.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see. Are those like
Damn it,
award-winning targets?
No, I do a program called Women on Target, and I teach women how to shoot.
Excellent.
It's a program from the NRA, and I've literally taught hundreds of women how to shoot.
Good.
So watch out, guys.
So what do you prefer? A 45, a 9? What do you prefer?
My
48?
concealed carry is this Lady Smith & Wesson 357.
Ooh.
Oh, you gotta love America for that. I wish I was an American.
And I will add that it makes me very comfortable when we go to the parks, especially state game lands, that I conceal carry. I honestly think anybody going into Pennsylvania state game lands should have a gun with them.
They're that rough, huh?
Oh,
what else you got for your rapid questions there, Izzo?
I have
a rapid question.
Go ahead, ask it because I'm
right.
I'm tapped out here.
I'm gonna be the little shit disturber. QRP or full power?
Well, I think we know the answer to that. Depends on whether you want to do real ham radio or just play around.
All right. ARL or no association?
That one's easy.
I mean, we both belong to the RRL. There are some things that they do have some resources that are useful. I just don't
Just
buy
some.
into their culture, I guess would be the best way to put it.
They do the scholarships, which we find for the kids.
Awesome.
Really like that program.
Did you guys hear about the story of the gentleman who makes the shack in a box? Is it, guys?
Yes.
Shack in a box.
Yes.
Did you guys hear about that, Judy and Steve? So this is a really important thing that the clubhouse wants to bring it to the attention of people, but it's not. It is public knowledge, but there is a gentleman that we've all a lot of us learned. Him and his family, we've learned about them through a lot of the videos from the Huntsville Ham Fest that happened, and it's a family business that makes these go boxes that are like the nice
channel.
The Pelican case with the or whatever it is, different ones with the 7300,
very
beautiful boxes. It came to our attention, a lot of the creators, that the father, whose name is James, he got rushed into surgery for an emergency surgery for his heart. That was last week or earlier this week. And it has been extremely rough. It has been touch and go, very emotional for the family. They still don't know. They went to say their goodbyes, and by the grace of God, he's still around. And so they are doing a GoFundMe page to support the family. And we're putting the link up there.
This is their YouTube channel.
That's their YouTube channel. But
that's their YouTube channel. No, there's a GoFundMe.
Joe Brett just did that.
We were sort of kicking ourselves. We're having a private message here. We should have announced this at the beginning of the night. But if you go see their story, I believe it's on a GoFundMe. It's quite an emotional roller coaster for what we read from the wife's. It's honestly, guys, like my father went into the hospital with heart issues, and it was emotional. If they have the story there, it's a heartbreaker from not gonna make it to gonna maybe to not. It's all over the place. And so if you want to show support, if you have the ability to show support, there's a GoFundMe trying to raise money for the family, and we wanted to just share that news with you guys today.
Absolutely,
and it's quite the story.
If I can make a suggestion, guys, we talk a lot about in our everyday lives. So again, maybe, hey guys, throw them $20. Anything that you feel or more that you can do for a family. Again, his kids are into ham radio. These are good kids. They're into ham radio, and they're making box. They came up with the idea of all this, and they worked its way through. So again, anything that you can do, maybe instead of going out for dinner on Friday night, maybe take that money and give it to them. It'll make you feel good. So the
GoFundMe hasn't been fully. Oh yeah, it's there. So the link you gave is the direct. There's another link. I'll put it up there. That's the wrong link. I'll put it out there. I like to make them, guys. I don't want to speak out of turn, but can I make a motion that any monies that came in tonight we donate towards the family?
Absolutely. We don't even need a motion. Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
So anything you guys have given us tonight, we're gonna just take that in full and send it over to them and from tonight. So thank you so much, guys. And
absolutely.
I put the link there so you have it, and we'll put it in the description of the podcast and the video. So awesome.
And one other thing, I think we should just quickly, again with world events, United States events, I'm not sure how many. Was it back on Sunday or Monday? Some real raging storms. Mother Nature just she's doing her thing, and tornadoes did some real bad damage. Tornadoes are something. Thankfully, with new technology, it's all about the early warning, but it does not stop the tornado. And some one or two communities were absolutely lost. I know for a lot of us, that's hard for us to fathom when your entire town is pretty much destroyed. So again, if I can make a recommendation, maybe the American Red Cross, which is good, or find whatever charity that you feel comfortable with to help these towns rebuild. Again, and plus too, it's a hard time of the season. Listen, any time of the year is bad, but I just think somehow the Christmas season just adds an extra layer of holy shit. So tonight when you lay down your head on your pillow in your nice warm house, some people just don't have that tonight. And it's going to be, and it's not just something, FEMA's going to come in, the nonprofits and the NGOs are going to come in and help them. Don't get me wrong, but this is going to be a complete rebuilding for a lot of people, and maybe some families are just not going to be able to stay, and they're going to have to just go somewhere else. And we know picking up and going somewhere else is not easy. So again, this is the season of giving, and here, and I say this very sincerely. I'm very one to look at myself in the mirror, and sometimes I'm going to complain about something about myself. I can't grow my beard. I can't do this. I didn't make my 200 Pota contacts. Well, that's all bullshit, guys. We all know that, because guess what? I had a warm meal tonight, and I'm going to get a good night's sleep. So stop bitching, Izzo, and take a step back. So again, anything that you guys can do to help other people. Mm-hmm. So Scout, man, you're awesome, man. Love you, brother. You are absolutely an incredible individual. I don't care if that antenna got stuck up in that pine tree. We love you. And if Scout, if I got to buy you a new antenna, I will. That's how much I love you.
So a couple things. Was it confirmed that was the single longest continuous path? Because I remember they were talking on it.
They're still reviewing all of that data. Yeah, but it potentially looks to be, but still,
it's incredible.
It's still coming from the same cloud. I mean,
right.
So I know I make a lot of jokes about like prepper versus like being self-sufficient, right? But like that just shows like the whole community basis that Steve and Judy are developing for like their amateur radio. It doesn't have to be end of the world. It could be end to your community type situation where you have that hurricane. Like I said, we talked about the ice storm before. You look at Puerto Rico, and a lot of people make fun of it and say it's not a service, but it's not on every day. But there'll be a moment where you need it, and like that's where like having that ability to communicate with people is. It's an added benefit where, like when there is that level of despair, there is an option for communications. And so that's kind of cool that thinking about what Steve and his group, have done with their community, it kind of makes me think, okay, what do we have locally? Like, we do have our club, but there's that next level where people take it seriously. And I don't want to go overboard, but there is a level of seriousness to it. Right. So I don't know. It's cool.
I think everybody in their own way has to determine at what level do you do, and I respect that. Because I will never be one to tell you that this is what you should do. However, I will tell you, I've been blessed. This is my 38th year of doing emergency work since I was 18 years old, 17 years old, of giving back to people who I know and people who I don't know. And whether it was a house fire, to the floods, to the tornadoes, to the hurricanes, man, when your infrastructure is gone, man, that's a kick in the pants. It's a real kick in the pants. So again, I tell everybody, please, if you can have insurance. Don't get me wrong. Have your renter's insurance, have your homeowner's insurance. Do what you got to do, but when it gets into the environment of the tornado, again, like getting back to what we were just saying, there's nothing that you can do about it, and you just have to kind of just hope and pray, and as well as have faith. So, and let's just be happy for what we do have and what we work hard for. So, hey guys, we're gonna
Don, before you jump off of this, so we're gonna turn this real quick. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make this a little bit lighter. So, our buddy. N0SSC.
Sterling.
Thank you.
Sterling, yep.
Sterling posted a video. I think it was either Instagram or on the Tiki-Taki app. He's sitting outside of his house drinking a beer, listening to the tornado sirens. It says, everybody else in the world's freaking out. Us in the Midwest are just kind of chilling out, waiting for it to happen. It is kind of funny, in a way, in a dark sense of humor kind of thing. But yeah, keep yourself safe. Be out there and have fun. Just have fun and be safe with it. Get on the air legally, 100%. That kind of thing. So I'm gonna end this here. because Scout also turned around and he said he's going to get his antenna back. So I asked him how the squirrel training was going. And he said he's out of acorns. He needs another round of rabies shots. But other than that, it's going according to plan. So he will get his antenna back soon.
He just needs some more nuts. That's all he needs.
Yes. So, guys, Beer Snack here. I'm signing off. And I'm just going to say I appreciate everybody that's hanging out with us. Everything that's come in for tonight and anything that comes in between tonight and into the 20th will go to the Lee family.
100%.
So for the next 7 days, we'll go to the Lee family for helping them out.
Absolutely.
So that's coming from me. You guys, it's always awesome hanging out with you. Joe, what you got?
Man, you wanted to turn it light, but that was my whole ending was about these storms and stuff. Luckily we made it through okay here, and but it just hit me today. I'm like, oh crap, we know people that was in the path of this thing, right?
Yep.
So I was sitting there thinking, I was watching last night's Monday Night Ham Radio, and I was thinking of a name I wasn't seeing in the chats, and I always refer to him as Kentucky Tide, KY4 TG. He's in a lot of our chats. So I send him an email. I say, hey man, let me know something. He's good. It was like 30 minutes from his house, but so if you know somebody, kind of think about it. If you know some operators that you communicate with, check in on them and make sure they made it through it okay. We had some pretty good numbers tonight, so it seemed like we had our usual crowd. But I just can't help but think that somebody might not have been with us. So, and I think it's a great idea with the GoFundMe we mentioned and Hams supporting Hams.
Yeah,
glad to be with everybody tonight.
Yep.
Go ahead, somebody.
Yeah. So
everybody at once,
right? I've been recording some videos on the Step IR.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
My.
Did you save them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
30-foot boom. 30-foot boom. That's all we need.
30-foot boom. The poles are 17.6 on each side, so it's going to be big. But I'm currently painting the fiberglass, so getting that done, and hopefully I'll get that hole dug here in the next couple of weeks, and then concrete's on its way.
Listen, shovel full a day.
Right. Hey, 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. That's all I need. So
that's what she said.
No.
So guys, I got nothing special. I'm just eating my wings that are absolutely delicious. I wish I could share it with you guys, but well, that doesn't work virtually. And anyways, listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. Steve and Judy, thank you so much for coming tonight. It was a pleasure to meet you. And I'm sure there's a lot more we could unpack, but we just don't have the time for that. So thank you so much for being here. And everybody who's tuned in tonight, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Izzo, I will leave it to you for the closing words.
Again, thanks to Judy and Steve. And I guess I could speak on a lot of us. When you work Judy, we know Steve is somewhere, either sitting there having a cigar, nice, or hanging out, or maybe sleeping. But again, it's always nice to put a face. Thank you guys very, very much. You guys are a great couple. We appreciate your candidness, your openness to come on board, share. So guys, chase them when you see them up on the Pota page. Me personally, I'll be out tomorrow in one of the parks. Haven't decided where I'm going to go. Just having fun. And next Tuesday, guys, we may have a special guest. It's going to be the big guy. The big guy is going to want to know, have you been naughty or have you been nice? And is there time?
Are you sure you want to know that question?
Yeah. Yes, we do. And then, guys, we're also planning something for maybe New Year's Eve. So, guys, continue to hang out with us. And before I say somebody play that music, thanks to everybody for thinking of everybody today. So thank you, and 7-3.
73.
Everyone say goodbye.
73.
7-3.